prioritized projects for the first 100-day cycle as follows. Provision of science, teaching and learning materials. About 200 units of the proposed 300 primary mobile science laboratory units are now in place. Tendering for science kits for 3,000 primary schools is also underway. Then construction of Mariga Primary School and 5 other new schools is almost completed. Construction of Mariga Primary School is 50%. The construction of Mariga Primary School and 5 other new schools to 100% completion. This is the ongoing progress. Construction of Mariga Primary School is 15% complete and the rest at 50%. Then on the construction of additional learning facilities in schools, that's community IRA supported infrastructure development. 2 classroom blocks at St. Joseph's Primary School are at 99% completion, while the 2 classroom blocks under construction at Baybridge Government Primary School are 90% complete. Under learner and curriculum support through partnerships. The project was commissioned by the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, whereby 400 iPads were delivered to 20 primary schools. Also, 41 of the 60 assistive devices for 60 learners who are hard of learning were fitted. Upgrade and register of 10 satellite schools in Mashonaland West and Midlands provinces. Construction work at the 10 satellite schools in Kariba and Siakobu district in Mashonaland West and Shishawani, Belengwa and Shurubi districts in Midlands province are at various levels of completion. Cabinet also received a report on the principles for the manpower development amendment. The Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development presented principles to amend the Manpower Planning and Development Act, Chapter 2802, in order to align it with the Zimbabwe Constitution. Cabinet approved the amendments, which principally seek to streamline and elevate the role of institutions, science and technology institutions, as well as professional bodies in the industrialization and modernization of Zimbabwe. It also seeks to entrench good corporate governance. Then we also received principles of the Citizenship Amendment Bill. Following presentation by the Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Cabinet approved the principles for the amendment of the Zimbabwe Citizenship Bill as part of the ongoing process of aligning the country's laws to the provisions of our Constitution. Key provisions of the amendment include the following. 1. Renaming of the Citizenship of Zimbabwe Act as the Zimbabwe Citizenship Act. 2. Permitting of dual citizenship by birth. I take that again. 2. Permitting dual citizenship for citizenship for. Then 3. Establishment of a Zimbabwe Citizenship and Immigration Board to inter alia oversee the granting and revocation of citizenship by descent and registration. 4. Prohibition of dual citizenship for citizens by descent and registration. 5. The requirement for applicants for citizenship by registration to have resided in Zimbabwe for 10 years, contrary to the current requirement of 5 years in terms of the housing. And also Minister of Mines and Mining Development briefed Cabinet on the ongoing recovery work at the Cricket Mine, where 4 miners are still trapped. Cabinet noted with concern that the dewatering of the shaft, which should clear access to level 5, where the miners are believed to have been working. I want to thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much, Chief Secretary.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Now we've come come to the session where we take questions from members of the media. We'll allow for questions in the first stage. Any volunteers? Yes, please. Your name and organization.
My name is Kosan Mule from Newsday. I'll find out probably the Minister of Home Affairs could expand more on the issue of citizenship. We have seen a lot of people challenging the issue of citizenship, particularly those who have been prohibited before, and then the courts will grant them. What does the new proposed law, new proposed bill entail in the amendment? Probably you could expand more.
From Simply Press Television Network. My question is directed to the Minister of Industry and Commerce concerning the bread supply situation. Wanted to ask for the details of the new initiative or proposed initiative to use local wheat. And my question is on the sustainability of that initiative using local wheat, or would it be that as a country we are changing the type of wheat that we're going to grow? So just to elaborate on that.
Okay. Thank you. Any other volunteer? Yes, please.
I want to ask
Sorry.
Robert, I want to ask the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, the situation on the ZUPCO initiative, how far is it? Is it still on the ground? Because we've seen as of yesterday, some companies were on the road and asking as much as $4 a trip because the buses are not available.
Just to explain that that issue was not part of the agenda. I don't know if you have to do the chair to answer the question. Any last one? This session. We don't seem to have any, so we get back to the
Thank you very much, Secretary. The first question was directed to the Minister of Home Affairs, and I also asked the Attorney General. Maybe I'll start by you, the Attorney General, and then go to the Home Affairs Minister on the what exactly does this bill entail. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister. Indeed, the Honourable Minister of Home Affairs was not yet a minister when all these challenges on the issue of citizenship began in our courts, starting with the case of Mutuma Mawere. The Constitutional Court has since clarified those issues, and some of the challenges that have been made in court were basically challenged by either the Registrar General or the Minister on the basis of the facts pertaining to particular cases. What the new or the aligned Act will be seeking to achieve is simply to incorporate what is already in the Constitution into the Act and put it beyond any doubt what the law is. Because if one reads the current Act and one reads the Constitution, one can see very clearly that there is lack of consistency in some of the important provisions. For instance, the current the current Act prohibits dual citizenship by any citizen, whereas the Constitution itself permits dual citizenship for those who are citizens by birth. So the principles presented today make it clear that the Act has to be amended in that respect and also a number of other respects so that it is consistent with the Constitution.
Okay, thank you, Attorney General. The second question was from Belinda, and it is directed to Minister of Industry and Commerce on the bread issue, the initiative of using local wheat?
Thank you for the question. What's very important to note here is that part of the reasons we are having the bread shortages is the millers are indicating that we cannot have bread using local wheat only. So I was able to demonstrate today that we do have millers and bakeries who are using 100% local wheat, and we have a decent bread. And we want to encourage usage of local wheat under our Buy Zimbabwe program. In terms of whether or not we are changing the wheat we are growing, we will continue to grow our local wheat, and there will be experimental studies to see if there are other variations to the wheat that we are growing. But we believe with our wheat we should be able to provide for our local bread. We are not saying we will no longer be accepting wheat that is imported. For variations, those who want to import the other variations, they'll be able to do that. But we want to encourage usage of our local wheat, which is available, and the baker in question is able to supply bread at affordable prices. And this is quite critical when we look at the affordability of bread to our people. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister of Industry and Trade. On the last question from Robert, Robert about ZUPCO, I think the initiative which government, when they intervened in January and introduced ZUPCO, is part of the TSP to make sure that there is really mass urban transportation. And this will continue, and as such, the ZUPCO will continue.
Yes, now. Yes, please, are you your second?
Yes, probably to the Minister of Finance, with the indulgence chair. Issue for the interbank market system introduced last week. Was it brought to the cabinet as well as okay, sorry, thanks. Maybe through you, Chair, with your indulgence, the issue of the interbanking system. Will the Minister of Finance assist us? From you there. Would the Minister for Finance assist us? How is the system working, and what's the progress so far? Over the weekend, we heard that about 5 million was traded through the system. And is it showing signs that the market will stabilize going forward?
Any other issue?
No,
Yes,
it's fine.
please.
It's more or less related to his question. Sankala.
Somebody say one. Yes, please, go ahead.
No, I was saying it's more or less related to Polisani's question, but thank you.
Thank you, Takuchi Mbakwe from Zen Papers TV. My first question goes to the Minister of Industry. Are there any alternatives to the bread issue? Because we've heard some people coming up with sweet potato. Have you explored other options? Because at times we keep going round in circles, but have we stopped actually to explore other options? And then my second question goes to the Minister of Finance. With the developments that are happening with ZIDA and the recent floating of the US dollar, what are your projections regards investment from foreigners? You know, we need foreign direct investment in the country. How will these two changes affect investment in the country? Thank you.
Last person. Yes, please. You raise your hand or you are okay? Or you are scratching your ear? Okay, if we don't, then I think we will have those two. Then the answers over.
Thank you, there are three actually. Thank you, Chief Secretary. The first one was directed to Minister of Finance, as much as we didn't discuss this, but I think it will be good.
Thank you very much, Minister Mchongwa. And thank you for the question. Now, the debut of the interbank market is successful from what we see today. We're very pleased that this market has been taken off. And maybe just a step back to see, just to say why we decided to introduce this interbank market and creating a market-determined rate for the US dollar versus domestic RTGS dollar. The reason was we're acutely aware that the one-to-one arrangement was producers and exporters. It was also expensive in terms of the lost production from exporters that they then had to convert their profits at one-to-one, but also in terms of the facilities that we had to borrow to maintain the one-to-one exchange rate. So really when we move from a fixed exchange rate to a floating managed exchange rate, I must be clear, by managed we don't mean managing the average rate, we mean managing volatility. I did notice that wasn't clear when we briefed the media. That is about volatility. It's not about setting rate at all. The rate is what it is in terms of market forces. But then we manage the volatility so as to reduce the uncertainty aspect around the mean of the rate. If you study statistics at university, really the difference is the difference between a mean and the standard deviation. And we are managing the standard deviation, but not the mean. The mean will do whatever it needs to do in terms of market forces. And of course, we have to seed the market. You mentioned the 5 billion, we have to seed the market initially, because someone needs to move first. So it had to be a Reserve Bank, a government moving first to trigger things. And we think things went very well. But going forward, anything that we do in terms of coming into the market is just to manage the volatility, but not to intervene. On the contrary, the government is staying out of the market because we were too big. If we go in there, we will distort the market. So our job is just to smooth the vagaries of volatility along the way. There are certain rules that, of course, we keep finessing, such as the amounts, for example, that could be tendered within the market system that, probably should be more normal than $500,000, others becomes too big. Also say that players who are holding FCA's dollars in the FCA account should be offload within a 30-day window and not beyond that, just have to make sure that there's continued supply of US dollars. So we think that things are going well with the market. The auxiliary question came from the colleague over there about how this will impact Zeda. Zimbabwe is open for business and foreign direct investment. What this will do, what really this has done, it has introduced normalcy in Zimbabwe's exchange rate system. It is normal for countries to have their own domestic currency and indeed a floating exchange rate, outright managed or whatever, but some exchange rate vis-a-vis for foreign currency. It creates certainty. What that does also, it helps the market unleash instruments, normal instruments for hedging, such as forward contracts or other type of contracts that then investors use for hedging their positions. It also is very helpful for pricing, trade finance facilities as well. So the response we're getting is that from foreign investors that this is good. This is a reform that's going in the right direction. At least for now, we have full monetary policy in action, as opposed to before where monetary policy was missing in the room. All we had was fiscal policy. We were working on one leg. Now we've got both legs, both tools for macro management, that is monetary and fiscal. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister of Finance. And last but not least, question was posed by Chambakwe to you, Minister of Industry and Commerce.
Thank you. Yes, I certainly did not grow up eating bread every day. I think this is a question best addressed by the private sector. Can they come up with alternative products that the market can easily take up? And the rationale should not be that we cannot have bread. I think that's very important. What we are most concerned about is our obsession for importation, even when we have local products that can meet local demand. So we consider this move as another alternative in the market, where bakers can consider using local wheat to supply the domestic market, and for premium, if you may want to call it premium products, they can then import. What is critical is that in this journey, we want to use as much of our resources as we can, use less of imports as we can, so that we are able to address as well our trade deficit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you very much for coming. Welcome to them. Let me thank the Minister of Information, their team, for ably giving you the matrix of the 15th cabinet meeting for the new government. So let's meet again next week. Good luck. Bye.
Thank you.